16, welcome back to CTV Morning Live. It's time for Ask the Expert with our friends from Doyle and Salewski joining us this morning. It's an opportunity for you to ask questions when it comes to credit counseling and so on. 613-789-6559, extension 2803. You can also email us questions, ottawa.morning@ctv.ca or Facebook at CTV Ottawa Morning Live. Simple as that. Joining us this morning, Brian Doyle. How are you?
Superb, thanks.
Very good, very good. Welcome back to the show. You've been away for our last few segments doing other things.
That's right.
Yes. Today we're going to talk about something that is very bothersome to you and troubling for a lot of people because it affects a lot of people who are looking for help in the credit counseling world, and that would be bogus operators, people who are basically, for lack of better words, ripping off people when it comes to dealing with their finances.
Exactly. There's a whole group, now that we have the internet, there's a whole group of companies and individuals who sell themselves to disadvantaged individuals who are in deep distress and then take advantage of their situation and actually end up taking a lot of money out of their pockets.
Yeah, this has happened over and over, has it not?
Yes, that's right.
You got some shining examples of that, I would bet.
Yes, back in 2004, a company called Ameridet filed bankruptcy after being pursued by the attorneys general in the United States. But they had taken about $172 million out of the pockets of 300,000 people. Mm-hmm. And you've got a company now in the States called Vortex. We had a nice couple walk into our offices 2 months ago. They'd been paying them about $1,200 a month, in total $5,000 before they came to see us. And there's no way we can get that money back. The money's gone. And
so they were paying $1,200 a month, thinking that their debts were being looked after, that their situation was being rectified?
Yes.
When in fact that wasn't the case?
That's correct.
What do they do? They just take your money and tell you that they're paying your bills and so on? Or?
They do. Some do. Some actually do pay your bills, and some are legitimate. There's no doubt about that. But some companies do take your money and then take their fees up front and then dribble some money off to creditors so they're not breaking the law. But then ultimately, the wheels fall off and the whole plan gets abandoned, and the people are left wondering why they went into it in the first place.
Right, right.
Some people pay for 2-3 years before they wake up, and they still don't get an accounting of where they are with their creditors.
Right, right.
Because most of these places can't stop the interest, they can't get principal forgiven, but the debtors think that something is happening to benefit them.
Right, when in fact that's not the case.
And a lot of these companies put themselves up as not-for-profit and charitable organizations, and they're registered, and they're meeting the rules and regulations of CRA. But in fact, they're barely meeting the rules, and in fact, they're basically not charities, and they're for-profit ultimately because they use accounting techniques to break off the money into associated organizations.
Somewhat ironic that people who are supposed to be helping you with your finances are in fact not doing that at all, but exactly the opposite.
Very sad, and it also hurts the good credit counselors that are out there, because there are some good organizations.
Right, right, yours included, and you're not the only ones. That's a fact. How do you, Brian? How do you recognize when things are not right? Like obviously you want to avoid this at all costs. Initially, like right off the bat, you don't want to pick the wrong people.
Exactly. An internet search under the name of the organization is a good start. Also, if you're dealing with a trustee is government licensed, regulated, audited, and monitored. And there's also a complaint mechanism if you're not satisfied with the services of a trustee through the Superintendent of Bankruptcy. And trustees offer credit counseling, proposals, and bankruptcies. Mm-hmm. And the credit counseling organizations that are out there in Canada have a proven track record, and often you can check up on them, and through the Better Business Bureau and associated organizations like that.
There are some big outfits out there, like there are some nationwide sort of outfits, even North America-wide businesses, right? That are involved in credit counseling.
Yes. We've seen some people walk in the door with outfits from British Columbia, Florida, all over the place. Generally, the farther away they are from your geographic center of home, the more probable I think that there's something wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, deal with something local where you can walk into an office, you can see the people.
Speak to someone in person?
Speak to somebody in person. I mean, this issue of virtual debt counseling, although you can do it, it just increases the potential of fraud.
My first red flag would be if it's an organization out of the United States. Nothing against their credit counselors, but I'm not in that country. and rules are different here. Things work differently here.
It's hard to get the money back, especially when it's in the States. I mean, crossing the border, the costs of getting your money back are prohibitive, so you've lost it, especially with that couple who came to see us 2 months ago.
Yeah, same situation, eh? That's exactly what happened. That would be my first avoidance, and then, like you say, do your homework. I mean, that's one of the things you should really do here.
And you've got to know whether you should be with a credit counseling organization or not, because a lot of people can't afford to be with a credit counseling organization because they can't pay all their debt. And credit counseling organizations cannot arrange forgiveness of principal. Trustees can do that through a proposal, but credit counselors can't see a debt reduction. They can see a staying of the interest, they can see a reduction in the interest, even down to zero, but they also can't deal with all forms of debt, like Canada Revenue Agency.
Right, but you can.
We can, yes.
Yeah, because you have that proper authority to do so.
We are licensed, and under the Act, we can stay and freeze debts.
Yeah.
And it's law.
Yeah, and not everybody can do that. All right, we're going to take a break here, but we do want you to ask questions about this particular. Maybe you've run into this problem with a bogus credit counseling outfit, or someone who has taken you for some money that, obviously it's money you need. No question about it. There's how you get in touch with us, 613-789-6559, extension 2803. Email ottawa.morning@ctv.ca or Facebook at CTV Ottawa Morning Live. Ask a question, you'll get the answer from Doyle and Salewski here on Ask the Expert. We'll be right back.